Hello, hello, everyone. I'm Baruti Carl Alexander, and this is Sports Take. This is our 34th episode. We have been doing this for a while, and if it's sports out there, we talking about sports. We have a depth of information to always talk about, and the sports world is very expansive. There's so many things happening, from golf to tennis to boxing. This week, I want to start out talking about boxing. Hey, did we know that heavyweight, they had a heavyweight boxing championship and it wasn't out there that much? Of course, it was Tyson Fury against Alexander Olesic.
Yeah,
Anybody know that how you pronounce that name?
yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, they had a fight again, and Mr. Tyson Fury said he was dedicated. He was not going to do any kind of playing. And I watched the fight, and it did not look like he was trying to play. He was trying to box Olisic, but guess what? Olisic beat him again. Um, Brother Paul, did you see the fight or did you see the highlights?
I hadn't seen the fight or the highlights.
Okay.
I saw a
Well,
couple of rounds, probably the early rounds. It was uneventful. I couldn't figure out. By then, somebody had told me who had won, but the two or three rounds I saw, you couldn't tell what was going on.
Well, I tell you, the thing with Olisic, he's not, well, anybody compared to Tyson Fury looks like they're small, but
True.
he is a big dude. He's 6'3", about 225, and he's quick. He he's not quick, but he can move, and Tyson Fury could not get him to put his weight on him. He could not put all of his weight on him, and he could not hold him. And Tyson Fury tried to hit him, but that man moved to the side and popped Tyson Fury real quick. I think he did win, just like he got credit for winning the second fight. What do you think, Jeff?
I think Tyson, I just saw some of the highlights. I didn't see the fight, I saw the highlights. I just think that Tyson is slowing down. I mean, you got to realize when he beat Wilder, what was that, 5 years ago? You got to realize, I don't think he has the same level of motivation when he fights these other guys. He had a lot of motivation to beat Wilder. I mean, that really piqued his interest, and he was willing to give it his all. And I just don't think, I think that after he beat Wilder the last time, I just don't think he has the same level of motivation. I think that he's peaked. His season is his career has peaked, and now he's on the way coming back down. Just like every athlete, at some point you get to the top of that hill, and then you start coming back down. And as simple as that, you start coming back down. That's what we
I
are.
agree with you to a certain extent, but he expressed that he was very motivated because he felt that Olisic kind of embarrassed him and took advantage of him because he was playing and he wasn't that much in shape. However, uh, Olisic is 35 and Tyson Fury is 37. They're similar ages. I just think he met his match also. You are correct, though. He is slowing down. I think he was highly motivated with Wilder, and that was some years ago, but I do believe that he met his match. Uh,
He almost got knocked out by Wilder. If they had accounted properly, Wilder wins that fight. He was down for 11. I counted him down for 11.7 seconds, but they didn't count right away, and he had that extra time to get up off the canvas and come back and win that fight. He really lost that fight, but it is what
okay,
it is.
that's fair, but it was three fights that they had, and
Right.
you
I'm talking
know,
about I'm talking about the last one when he knocked him down, and then he came back and beat Wilder. Was that the
yeah,
last one or the next one?
I
Was
can
that the
see
second
that.
one?
I can see that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think your assessment is correct. He's at the end of his career, and he just met his match. Now, what will really tell if Olisic fights another up and coming fighter, and he still manages to maintain this high standard that he's set up with now. So, but the thing is, there are no real exciting fighters. Wilder helped make that an exciting fight. These two were not necessarily exciting. That's why it wasn't out there that much. I just want to welcome our sister Amberly. How you doing, sister?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna get to it in a second. We're talking about boxing. Do you have any affinity or care about boxing? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't really watched much.
Okay, all right. Well, we just had a heavyweight boxing match, which is the premiere of boxing, and Tyson Fury got defeated for the second time against Alexander Oslesic, however you pronounce his name. So we'll just pay attention and see what's happening and going on. And if another boxing match comes up, we'll talk about that too. But we'll see where it goes after this. Um, the other thing that's happening, Tiger Woods came in second of the premier father-son or father-child golf tournament. Did anybody get a chance to see that? He came in second with his son Charlie, who's 15 years old. How is that you get a chance to play with your father, who's all-time great, and he's 15. He has the world before him. You know, he really can. Just like, well, it was different for Tiger. When Tiger came up, he was still dealing with racism. He was still dealing with. Well, let me be quick to say, racism has not gone away. It's changed. It's different, but he has the world before him, and they project that he's gonna do real good because he hit some hole-in-ones and everything. Jeff, did you see a little bit of that golf tournament?
I just saw the highlights. I don't sit around and watch golf like I used to. When Tiger Woods stopped dominating, I lost interest in the game. But I did see the highlights. I saw when actually I saw someone posted on our board, and I watched that. But so that's the only part. But now I'm not really a big golf fan anymore. The Tiger's no longer dominating anymore. It's been a while now.
Well, Phil, what do you think about the prospects of Charlie Woods and what he will be able to accomplish with his father pushing him and he getting out there at an early age? What do you think about that?
Of all the father sons who followed the dad in the family business, he's going to probably be the most successful. You think about it. He's already shown brilliance. They came in second at the tournament here just last week. Right. Viewership up. He's hitting hole-in-ones. I mean, he's not going to be his daddy, but he's going to be good. That's for sure. I mean, I don't think he will. I'm not in the business of saying what somebody can't do, but hey, he's good and he's going to be fine. He's going to bring golf back too. There's going to be a lot of people start following it again, just like when Tiger broke on the scene. It will be a new generation of people who like golf, young like him. And his daddy groomed him well, just like his daddy groomed him. That don't always work, but it's working this time.
Yep.
Let's hope so. Because I would love to get back into golf like I used to be.
Sound good, Jeff. Miss Amberly, what do you say about golf? Is it a boring sport? I mean, I can get into putt-putt. I can do that. But as far as golf, now I got some friends, they really down with it. What do you think looking at it from the outside?
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of putt-putt places that are popping up a lot more these days. So you see people getting into that a lot more. And I see a lot of men, especially Black men, getting into the sport, going out golfing with their buddies. And it's not, the typical man these days that are putting. There's a lot of not even putting, but playing golf. There's different golf places like here in Houston, East River is a new place that I've heard about where a lot of people go there and golf. There's actual hills and it's really nice, but you see all kinds of people there now. It's not just your typical white male or just them and their buddies golfing, or just for the rich man. It's not for the rich man either now. So and I think Tiger Woods' son may bring a lot more men into the sport for sure, and women.
What you think, Paul? What do you think about the future of golf and, from the time of Lee Elder and all of those. What do you think about the future of golf and the future with Black people in golf also?
Golf is a great sport. Black people are picking it up. I think it's great that Tiger Woods and LeBron James had a son alongside of him. That's a good thing for Black fathers. Of course, LeBron, more of the hype is on the James because, as LeBron James said, the NBA is a corporation. They get to play on Christmas Day, you know. And golf is not like that. It's not publicized that way, but it's a great game. And I think, you know, like the racism part and Black people getting into golf, I think Charlie is named after one of Tiger Woods' hero. I think Charlie Sifford or something, one of the Black guys that trailblazed for him. So it's a lot going on in golf, and hopefully, well, it's probably more Black people playing golf than we know of, because I have a couple of friends or acquaintances. When they go on vacation, they take the golf clubs. You know, they take them on the plane, and their vacation consists of playing in North Carolina, Hawaii, wherever they go. They take their club. So it's a good skill set, relaxation. It's a hard sport, though.
Yeah, I hear more people, you know, that's a part of their vacation, a part of their relaxation, you know, part of their competitive, you know, kind of persona. So yeah, I hear more of that.
A lot of business deals. A lot of business deals don't happen on the golf course.
Most business deals happen on the golf course.
Yeah.
Not in the office.
Yeah.
Well, guys, what we gonna say, Mr. President, what we gonna say about the Texans? You know, I remember what I said last week. The league is caught up with them. They studied video, they have studied the highlights, and they say, okay, we know what they're gonna do. And they have not come up with nothing new. Amberly, what do you say about the Texans?
I mean, what can you say? I feel like every game has progressed to the Christmas game, and that nothing has changed. That there haven't been any changes. So I'm not surprised. CJ is really who everyone is pointing at right now, and is definitely more so on him. He wasn't completing short passes, things that he did earlier in this season and last season. So I don't even think it's Slowick for this past game, but I think everything needs to be evaluated in the offseason, from Slowick to CJ to the offensive line. Those are the three main things to look at, because the defense is fine. You know, there's not much that needs to be changed there. And Collins and Mixon on the offensive end are solid. So there's definitely some pinpointing that could some finger pointing that could be going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I said last week, and I've said before about the offensive coordinator and his kind of repetitive and it's easy to figure out what they're going to do. But I want to add in this week that I think DeMarco needs more experience helping him come up with coaching. Maybe they need to get rid of Slovic, who did a good job last year, but this year he's not making no innovations. Mr. President, what's your opinion?
I agree with the offensive coordinator. It's time to scrap him. It's time to scrap him. I really believe that he's not coming up with the you got to have counters. If this is not working, then you go to this. If that doesn't work, then you got to go to this. And I just don't see where he has counters. I don't see where he's making the in-game adjustments that's required from one half to the next. The first half, okay, then figured you out. You got to come out the second half and try something new. I don't think that he has that mindset, the skill set to be able to make those in-game adjustments, and I think that's hurting the Texans. So I think, yeah, he needs some more help over there. D'Amico Ryans he does need more help on that coaching staff, and then of course they need to get the offensive line solidified, because it's not, that offensive line is not solidified, and right now CJ is losing confidence by the week because that offensive line is solidified.
You can see that he's losing confidence.
Exactly.
Can I say, I think if CJ had more confidence and didn't rely on his offensive line and just got out of the pocket a little bit and just was more had more of a dog mentality and trying to complete passes, then it would be a different season all around.
Yeah. I mean, you could point to so many different occasions during the season. Things have just gone wrong. Like they had the game won and Fairbairn missed a field goal that he normally would make. You know, at least 3 or 4 games they had won. They had Detroit beat. And just things did not go like they should have went. And they steadily going down, like you said, Amberly, you know, this was like a culmination of the year because you steadily messing up. You know, you win some games, but now everything is coming home to roost. Brother Paul, you have seen a lot of years of football back in the Oiler days and so forth. Are things going to be all right, or do they need to make some changes?
They need to make some changes, and I agree with everyone. What everyone said was correct. I think you said on the show a long time ago that maybe they should just start from scratch and rebuild the offensive line. It's trash. It's the worst in the league. And he's getting a little shell shock back there. Sometimes you got to take a step back to go forward, but the way football is today, nobody wants to make an offensive lineman number 1 or draft him in the first round because it takes some years to groom him. But if he's going to be your franchise quarterback,
they've had some bad luck with offensive linemen drafting offensive linemen.
They had some terrible choices of offensive linemen, and either had some terrible choices or who's coaching these guys? Sometimes you watch them try to pull or block or catch somebody blitzing through the hole. They seem to have no idea. I mean, is that coaching? Everybody to share the blame with the Texans. Are we sold on the GM? GM has to take some responsibility for this mess. I mean, you know,
I know they're missing Stephon Diggs. I know they're missing him a lot. He was really the offensive leader. They really missing him a lot.
Yeah, and we expected a lot out of him, and things go wrong. I think the same thing happened with Philadelphia maybe last year, but he have up and down years. We expected more, but Jeff, I think what you said, they don't seem to be able to correct things in the game. When things go bad, they don't seem to have an answer for anything from week to week. So,
and they also still missing their starting right tackle. I mean, that guy Howard, he just seems like we can't seem to get many games out of the guy. He always seems to go down.
Everybody in football got somebody that's down though.
Yeah. But he goes down every year. That guy goes down every year. Every year we've had him, he goes down.
I mean, I don't think we can talk about injuries. Everybody got injuries, but I do remember back in the day, the Oilers, they went after Mike Munchak, number 1, Bruce Matthews, number 1. So there is some precedent, especially when that's your number 1 weakness, and then you think you have a franchise quarterback, so you already have that, and you have a top-notch backup in Davis Mills. But you know, I think they got the nucleus. They just got to find people to put the nucleus together. Phil, what do you think about what's going on with the Texans?
Well, first of all, you mentioned 2 Hall of Fame offensive linemen that played for the Oilers. Munchak and Bruce Matthews are in the Hall of Fame. They don't have none of that in Houston, bro, right now.
No.
Even Tunsil is not even in their league. Now, it's an organization.
They drafted them.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But the Texans don't have none of that. That's kind of wishful thinking. I'm saying Houston drafted those 2 guys back-to-back years. Penn State, USC. I mean, look where they came from, and they're Hall of Famers. I like that.
And they got Steinkuhler the next year, didn't he? They got Steinkuhler the next year. They drafted Dean Steinkuhler the next year. They drafted 3 offensive linemen.
Steinkuhler was a Lombardi Award winner too. But that's an offensive line that you won't see in Houston no time soon. That's all I was making reference to. But I'm saying the collapse of what they're going through is organizational. It's everybody. I mean, you all have made good points about what has transpired that made it bad. Coaching, general managing, game in-game decisions. Just a collective group. Nobody can say one person has done it and blame them. It is a total organizational issue right now. And I think the injuries have definitely played a part. Nobody making excuses, but some injuries on certain teams devastate another team differently. Okay,
Amen.
everybody got somebody hurt because it's the NFL. Everything is not for long. You're gonna have injuries. If you're going good, just wait. It's coming.
Hey,
You know,
hey, hey,
your little puddle part of your season is coming at some point. You can peak at the end, or peak at the beginning, or peak in the middle, but you need to win them last 4 games so you can talk.
let me ask this, Phil. Does the league need to make some more changes in the rules with so many injuries?
Well,
Or
they should have never went to 17 games. I mean, the injuries are going to happen if you have an 8-game season, 10-game season. The injuries are there. That's what they do. They tried everything they can. Can't horse collar. You can't hit a certain way. I mean, some suspect hits, quarterbacks get pampered. Sometimes some get hit, they don't make the calls. You know, they can change a game just like that. You know, face mask, or hit to the head, or hit below the knees. So
anybody got any ideas on some
You-
things they might could do?
What about helmets? Can they go with maybe change the construction of the helmets?
they've done that.
Protect them better?
They've done that. They do that. They got all kind of helmet equations now. Helmets is not an issue anymore for head injuries. They got special helmets. You can pick a helmet that has that special crown if you want to wear it.
They
Maybe one out of every 50 players wear it, but I see it. And they wear them in training camp. They wear them. You can wear them in the game now. So I mean, they're trying. I mean, it's not
And they got
it's
concussion
affecting the
protocol?
game.
Yeah, I see them in
What's the
training camp, but I
protocol?
don't see them in the game. So
Oh, I've seen them in the game. You can't wear them in the game. That's a choice. And I've
Okay.
seen several players, mostly linemen, but there's
They
been some
won't.
safeties. I've seen some receivers. I have seen those helmets, and they look. You have to look close. They're a little bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
They,
I know it's a discussion that they are having because they
Look
Yeah,
at the
go ahead,
kickoffs.
Paul.
They changed the kickoff style. I mean, they
Yeah.
try everything they can.
it's one
Yeah.
thing, one change I would like to see. I would like to see most of the fields in the NFL, all of them change from turf to grass. I
Okay.
saw what the NFL did a study. The NFL spent millions of dollars, and the outcome was that there are no more injuries on turf than there are on grass. Of course, they're paid by the people that paid them, the billionaires that own the NFL teams. So there's no difference between the injuries in turf and grass. But the players, they know different. They know that grass is better than turf, but they don't run the team. They're just players on the team. If you had a friend or a relative that was an NFL player, he'll tell you straight up, they don't like playing on turf. You know, it's like playing on concrete. Who wants to jump in the air, land down, or get your head bumped to the ground with a good helmet, with a 300-pounder riding your back, and then it ends up on turf? That stuff is hard. So that's the only change as far as tinkering the rule feels right. All the rule. If you're changing the more rules, you won't have NFL football anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I know they looking at that. They're doing all the studies and estimates that they can, but the game is the game, and if you change it too much, it'll change the whole
the
environment.
the studies that they did was non-contact injuries. They said it was as many the injuries were the same non-contact.
Yeah,
Which means that I've seen quite a few players watching football this year just blow a knee out running downfield with nobody around them. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Either way it go, you're gonna have injuries. I don't know what else they can do, Carl, other than what they've already done. I don't know.
I bet you the non-contact injuries are on turf more than grass.
Well, field turf came along to change the artificial turf. The artificial turf was basically plank board, cement, and that was bad. Philly had the worst. The Astrodome was bad. Field turf at least pops up. That's those pellets you see pop. I mean, it's still turf, but it's so easy to maintain. That's going to take a lot of providing owners would let them. I mean, wow, I would love to see grass everywhere too, but I don't know if they can do that. But they've done everything else.
They can't do it because you can't have a Beyonce halftime show on grass.
There you go.
Field-
And that's the thing. Field turf, but
You know,
field
you
turf
have
would be
concerts.
good.
All these stadiums, they have concerts and car races
Yeah,
and
yeah.
bull run. You know, everything imaginable. It's about making money. So
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Speaking of that, they just had the Netflix football, and of course the basketball players. They said, "Hold up now, that's our domain." I'm not sure that they voicing that is going to change the NFL mentality, but you
no.
know, all this big money is being made, and everybody wants to get in on it, just like Netflix got in on it. And the biggest show was Beyonce at halftime. But that being said, Amberly, who are the top teams that is going to end up in the conference championships, AFC, NFC? Who you think in the AFC where the Texans are? Who's going to be the top two teams?
Well, we already know who's going to the Super Bowl, so that's just going to be
Simplify it. He simplified it for you.
I bet I know who she going to say.
Yes, you do.
All of us kind of know. Who you think?
yeah, we know it's going to be the Chiefs and the Bills.
The Chiefs and the who? The Bills?
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl?
No, AFC
No, in the
Championship.
Oh,
conference
AFC
championship.
championship.
Yeah,
Championship.
I agree with her. Now it's according to how they line up as far as what two teams are going to be playing each other. Because if they play each other in the second round, I don't think that's possible though, because one's going to be the number 1 seed, one's going to be the number 2 seed. So they have to end up, if they're going to end up playing each other in the conference championship.
It hasn't been a conference
That's what she
championship.
said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody got a difference in the AFC? Anybody got a difference out of
And
those
Buffalo
two teams?
can beat them.
I want.
Who?
Buffalo can beat them.
I
Kansas
want-
City beat them already.
I
I
believe
want
so too. Who you got, Paul?
I wanted Kansas City and Baltimore, but I don't see Baltimore winning in Buffalo or Kansas City. So it's probably
The
Buffalo.
way Lamar is playing this year is possible though.
Yeah, but Lamar plays like that every time this year until he goes to Buffalo or Kansas City.
Well, he can beat Buffalo a few times. He can beat Buffalo.
He
I'm
didn't
more worried
have
about
Derrick
Kansas
Henry
City.
before though.
Yeah, he
Yep.
did not. But he can beat Buffalo. He can beat Buffalo. Yeah, I'm more worried about Kansas City. They can beat Buffalo. That's the funny thing. And it's not because one team is so much better. Certain teams match up differently with each other. And Baltimore matches up well with Buffalo. Not so much Kansas City. They play them tough, just can't beat them. But I would go with Baltimore against Buffalo.
Well,
and I would go with Buffalo against Kansas City, believe it or not.
Yeah, I agree with that, Phil. I think that Buffalo have a better chance of beating KC than the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens have scored enough points.
No, I don't think so either. For some reason, they won't.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's always that year that you break through. This could be the year. Somebody got to stop maybe Mahomes sometime. It hasn't been yet, but it might be. This is the year that Lamar breaks through. We don't know, but we'll see. Anybody think the Texans got any chance?
Yeah. They got to play anything in the playoffs. I mean, the wild card teams slip in every now and then. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to be brief. They should have beat Kansas City 2 weeks ago, man. They not that bad. They just had their moments when they played crazy.
I mean, they had a lot of games where they should have won.
That's true, but we talking about the echelon teams. They gave some games away, you know that. But I'm talking about when they played Kansas City, they played a game that they should have won, could have. We know they've done that already a few times, but I was just looking at what a waste of talent, opportunities.
If someone could fire CJ up, we might have a fighting chance. He has to fight for it. If he doesn't fight for it, then we're good as done.
Yeah. Something, maybe that sophomore jinx is happening, but he started the year great. First 5-6 games, he was top notch. But
I don't know. I think our kicker won those games for us. He was hitting those 60-yarders back to back.
He was playing well early in the season, Paul. He was. You're right. He was playing well early in the season, and then all of a sudden he hit a brick wall, and he just hasn't recovered.
But it's a new team, man. They have to adjust new players. Each season changes, and nothing's going to carry over that easy. You have to work for it, and they haven't, to me, done that. And the injuries affected them. Then they didn't always mesh. Diggs didn't seem to be a problem, but he was looking for that ball, and he got hurt. Like Paul said, he was a non-contact injury. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
Nobody touched him. He was running down the field and running the pattern, pulled up. Achilles happened the same way too.
Yeah, it's so many variables that can happen during the year. Okay, Amberly, the NFC. I think the top teams are Detroit and Philly. Who do you choose for the NFC?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. There's nobody else that's going to match up. Detroit, the Lions and the Eagles. That's about it.
Yeah, everybody else. Paul,
I
what
like
you
the
think?
Vikings. I think the
There you go,
Vikings.
Jeff.
I
That's
think
where
the
I was
Vikings doesn't
going.
give a shit.
The whole NFC Central, the Packers. I don't think nobody really want to play them right now either.
Yeah. I think any one of those teams could win. Detroit,
Yeah.
Vikings, or Packers, all of them in the same division. I think
And they're going to have a better record than maybe the Washington if they win their division. No, well, not Washington. For sure, Atlanta, whoever wins that division, all those teams will have a better record. And they're not going to even win their own division. Well, they could if one of the three will, but two of them will be wild cards. And I don't think nobody want to play either one of them. Now, that's the AFC wild cards don't scare anybody, but the NFC wild cards, they could possibly be in the Super Bowl.
That's true. They got some interesting teams.
If they get the right balance, and because they're going to be in the game.
Oh, yeah, they got good teams, well coached.
Did anybody
Even
see the Washington game this past week against Philly? That boy is good. Now, there are times you can see his real inexperience. But the talent and the variables that he has. I'm talking about Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
So, I believe if he's in the game, if his defense and his ground game keeps him in the game, he has a chance. I think he's a year or two away though, but you never know. He can make it right now. So, the NFC has more teams that have potential than, in my opinion, the AFC. But we're gonna see how it works out. The consensus is Philly and Detroit with the variable of the wild cards of Green Bay and the Vikings. So it's going to be very, very interesting coming up.
And the Rams, don't forget about the Rams. They playing better lately.
You are correct, Jeff. You are correct.
Yeah.
And the last part of last half of the year, they've been winning. They started off very slow, but then they've been winning. So yeah, you probably do have to add them to the mix.
But did you see how different a team Philly is without their quarterback? When he went out, everything changed for them too. When soon as Hurts went out, I mean,
that's true.
Okay, but they don't have a great backup either. And Lord forbid something happens to Mahomes, that backup over there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, all of that has to factor in. Yes.
Kansas City is definitely not going to be the same team without Mahomes. Backup quarterbacks make a difference. Believe it or not, Cooper Rush has done a good job backing up for the Cowboys.
I think he's going to get a contract and
go somewhere else.
Terrible, but Dallas, all the way around, that is a situation in flux. So we don't know what's going to happen. They may have a different coach next year.
Maybe.
They may have a different starting quarterback.
That ain't happening.
Okay. You don't think?
No, they locked into that at least one more year. He ain't gonna win.
All right.
I got a question.
Yeah.
All the teams we named, we're right. It's gonna be interesting because the way we used to judge things on was when it got cold weather, when it got late in the playoffs. Not so much quarterback won games, but we used to think that the people that had the best chance to go to Super Bowl was the one at that time of the year had the best running game. And we picked the best teams, but Philadelphia has Baltimore has Derrick Henry, and Philadelphia has Barkley. How much y'all think that's gonna make some difference in the playoffs with the cold weather?
For sure. Yeah.
I think so.
You control the narrative when you can control the ball. If you're getting first down running the ball, clock runs, get a new set of downs. I mean, yeah, in my opinion.
I think so. I think it
We're gonna have
will.
to watch that. We're gonna have to watch that play out, I believe. It's gonna be
But
interesting.
if you have that running game and then you have that quarterback who can make those play action and downfield passes and complete them, if you have that variable, if you have that capacity, that's what make you a championship team. Especially if you have a defense that can hold their own. We'll see
Really does.
how that turns out. Let me ask y'all this. What do we think about the holiday coverage and that also with the NCAA and how their football bowl scenario is going to go? We just had Christmas, NBA Christmas, NFL Christmas. Now we got New Year's coming up, and I don't hear as much about the bowl games about to happen. I know they're going to start advertising, but it seemed like in the past they really, had the gloss on about what's about to happen and so forth.
Okay, Coach. This is where we are. Peach Bowl's on January 1. You got the Peach Bowl. You got number 5 Texas versus Arizona State. All right. Same day, you got the Rose Bowl, number 8 Ohio State versus number 1 Oregon. That's on January 1st as well. Also, we have on that same day, you got the Sugar Bowl. You got Notre Dame, number 7 ranked Notre Dame versus number 2 ranked Georgia. That should be a good game. That should be a high-powered game. And then the day before that, on New Year's Eve, you have the Fiesta Bowl, number 6 versus the Penn State versus number 3 Boise State. So those could be some very, very entertaining games. So we're very looking forward to those games over the next week. So
but hasn't it lost its luster, Jeff? Haven't that when you talked about the Rose Bowl in the past, you talked about the Orange Bowl. It has such a air. It has such a classic, and it has such an air, and it was big time. It's not as much anymore that I feel.
It seems to have lost its tradition.
Go ahead, Paul.
It's you're right. To me, it seems to have lost its tradition.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's the saturation of all of this, everything happening. I mean, we used to just have ABC, NBC, Fox,
CBS.
I guess, and CBS, and you had to look at one of those. Now you got something everywhere. You put it on channel 23 on regular TV, and you got Alabama State and Bethune-Cookman. You can watch something everywhere. So, but for the sports fan, the real sports fan, hey, it's kingdom come. It's great. So, but I think overall it's still a saturated market, and that's just TV in general. You can watch a movie, a big time movie, almost the next day from it coming to the theater on TV. So, I mean, it's just changed. Everything has just changed. It's just so much. Speaking of the Christmas Day games, the basketball games on the NBA were quite exciting. A few of them, several of them. Now, Wembanyama, he had 42, I think, and he put on a show. And if he had a little bit more help, they probably would have pulled that game out. But Cat Towns, he put on a show too, and as well as, of course, Mikal Bridges. And New York is a super top team, and they are going to be a threat for the NBA playoffs, NBA championship. But that the NBA East is in a state of flux. 2 teams that started out very slow. Milwaukee raised it up. Philadelphia is now raising it up. and they're going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. Amberly, what do you say about the NBA Christmas games, and NBA in general?
I actually watched just the football games. I didn't watch the NBA games, but I did hear about it, and I hear New York is the powerhouse like it used to be back in the 90s, early 2000s. So that I think they'll get further than they did last postseason for sure. It's going to be them and the Celtics pretty much. You do have the Cavaliers up top. I'm anxious to see how far the Cavaliers can go, but for the West, you know, the Thunder and the Grizzlies right now are looking pretty good. I'm still rooting for my Rockets. They still have a piece that's missing, so we'll see how far they can go.
What piece is that?
We need a guard that's more consistent. Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet aren't as consistent as they could be. So I've been hearing a lot of trade rumors with ideas of getting De'Aaron Fox, since that's not going well in Sacramento right now. So yeah, if we were to get someone like a De'Aaron Fox, or even like a Zach LaVine, or someone who can get their own shot, then it would be a game changer for the Houston Rockets, because we have the defense, the number 2 defense. And if we have that scoring guard that can go and get their own shot, and even if we kept Fred VanVleet and have him play off ball, and that would be just a great combo, because Jalen Green just isn't there yet. He can only play well when it's against bad teams. So against those better teams, we need someone that can go and get that shot.
I disagree with you vehemently, but I'll talk about that in a second. Phil, what's your assessment of this Rocket situation? What's your assessment of it, Phil? The Rockets.
Well, they're fine to me. I mean, I don't see anything they need to do. Look, basically, coaching makes a difference. They need to figure out what they're going to do with Cam Whitmore, if anything. That's a wild card right there that makes that team like an elevator. I don't know what it is. I don't go to the practice. I don't know if it's personal or what the organization think about him. I see him as a great player. They can keep him and let him play, or they can get rid of him. He's going to go somewhere else and be good.
Who was that, Phil?
Cam Whitmore.
Oh, yeah. Cam is a star now. The last 3 games.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He's not a rounded player just yet. He's coach is starting to trust him on the defensive end, and that's the main thing he needed to do, is just play team ball on the defensive end and on the offensive end, instead of trying to just go get his shot, just being more within the offense. So that's the things he's been working on.
Well, the thing is, they got so many players that's similar type, but you just got to find playing time for them. And one thing about Udoka, you don't play if you don't play defense. So that's already understood. That's no big surprise. That's what he does. That man actually played in the NBA, whether people know it or not. So he does understand the dynamics, what it takes, and he coached on the pop. So, I mean, those are kind of characteristics he brings to the team. So, like I said, I was just saying they have everything they need for now. I mean, everybody's talking about trade. Why break? You're going to lose some of them anyway when those contracts come up. Of course, you renew Green and the big boy, which I've always thought he was a good player. A lot of people call him this, that, and the other. If you go to the games and watch him play, he is fundamentally sound. That's just my opinion about him. And you need somebody like that all the time.
Shangun,
Matter of fact, Cam just scored an impressive basket. Just an impressive basket. The guy can play. They need to play that guy. It's all about confidence with Cam. And you know how some guys, sometimes the coach can get on the guy, and sometimes a guy don't take it as well. Some guys can take it well, and some guys don't. You have to talk to certain guys a certain way, because they get a little sensitive. And I don't know if he's had that issue or what, but the guy is talented. They got to play that game. The last 3 games he's been back since he returned from the G League, he scored 11, and then 17, and then 27 last night. They just got to play. It's all about confidence with him.
Well, you can't send him back to the G League now, that's for sure. You can send Reed Shepherd there now, though.
Thank you, Reed Shepherd.
And Whitmore those minutes. Yeah.
And that's what I recommend. They send Reed Shepherd to the G League. I sit on one of the Rocket sites, and all those people in the Rocket site, they ran me out of there. Get out of here. You ain't going to talk about Reed Shepherd. They jumped on me. You can't say nothing about Reed Shepherd. You can't say nothing about that boy.
It's a
he
fair
needs some playing time. He needs to get his shot back. And once he does, I'm sure he'll be back. But splitting time between Cam Whitmore and Reed Shepard is the issue. We can only do it now because we got Dylan Brooks and Tari Eason hurt, but once they're back, it's going to be short for that rotation.
I'm just watching Reed. Reed has no confidence right now. He's not playing with any kind of confidence, no kind of swagger. He needs to go to the G League to get his game together.
He needs to go to the G League. Right now, it looks like the game is too fast for him in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not ready. He's not ready. And that guy was number 3 pick in the whole draft.
I'm everybody.
Michael Jordan at number 3.
He'll end up being the best out of that draft. Just watch. He'll be the best.
Who?
Really?
Reed Shepard. He'll be the best
out of that. The best out of that draft?
I believe in it. I believe in it.
Because he's already solid on defense, and we already know he can shoot. So once his shot starts falling, and he keeps racking up, he has real hands on defense. He'll be a great player. He'll be a great player.
I'm gonna remind everybody. The Rockets.
But Jeff never believed in him, so don't feel bad. Just keep what you're saying. Jeff never believed in that kid.
The Rockets are 21-9, one of the best records in the league, and I would not make any trade. Now, the most important thing is what Phil said. What's going on with the dynamics of the team, their personalities? That's the most important thing. That's what the coach got to assess. Because if you can build a chemistry with that talent, you can be in any game, have a chance to win against anybody. So I don't want Jimmy Butler. I don't want even Kevin Durant. I'm not trying to get those guys. I'm trying to build the guys that I got because we try to build our chemistry. And we got the best talent in the league, in my opinion. So I'm not trying to get nobody else. Now, there are some possible trades, not necessarily for the Rockets, but there's some people need to be traded. I say time is up for Zion Williams, you know, at the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm paying him all this money and he hadn't played very few games. Yet I've given up on him. I'm going to trade him to get some more established players. Now look at what the Clippers are doing. They got really only one star in James Harden. Now they got Norman Powell. They got Terrence Mann. They got Zubac, but they number 1 in the Pacific. So you get the right mix of guys, you can compete. But you get somebody who is bad for energy, and supposedly that's what Jimmy Butler is. That's what they say he is. You know, if it ain't playoff time, he's a cancer. That's what they say. Yes. But there's a lot of potential trade people that you mentioned. Zach LaVine. I've heard that he needs to be traded because he doesn't compete. That's what I've heard.
He plays well.
Who else? Brandon Ingram. They say he needs to be traded. So it's a lot. The whole thing is chemistry. All of the people in the NBA, for the most part, are talented. Some people have specialties where they defense and rebound. Look at the boy Zach Edey and how he's helped turn around Memphis.
That's your boy, Carl.
Huh?
Wait a minute, Carl. Say it again. Carl, say what you just said about Zach Edey. Say it again.
He's helped turn around Memphis with his rebound.
You said Zach Edey's turning around Memphis?
They tied for number 1 in the Rockets in the South. They tied for their with the Rockets. Look where they were last year.
But I don't think Zach Edey is the one that doing that. I think that's your boy Durant. That's the Morant.
But he's right. Zach Edey is playing a serviceable role, is what he's saying.
Yes,
but he's not the one that's leading them.
No, he's not leading. He's not. But he's contributing. They wouldn't be as good as they are now without him. They would not.
He's rebounded. Look at his rebounding and his clog in the middle. He reminds me of an NBA Greg Kite. How Greg Kite was at Madison.
Better than Kite.
Thank you. He better than Kite. He better than Kite.
What I'm saying is what Kite did at Madison, he's doing in the NBA.
Oh yeah. Okay.
7-4, clogging up the middle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Clogging the middle, and you know he's making it where they can't get inside and get buckets. So he's changed that whole program. So, Amberly, who do you see as the top teams that you didn't necessarily think was going to do what they did. I'm saying Memphis, Cleveland even. Those are two. And then who is disappointing? That Minnesota, in my opinion, is disappointing. And the Rockets are playing them right now. But I mean, I said the Rockets was going to win 51 games, Jeff. I said the Rockets was going to win.
I said 49. We were close. I said 49.
Yeah, but I would not get rid of any players. Now I would manage maybe their minutes better, but Udoka knows, what's going on better than any of us. So I have to respect that. And the NBA is interesting, and it's going to be that. And they talk about the ratings were down, but that was because Christmas Day people were watching football.
No, the ratings are down, Carl. The ratings are down. It was up for Christmas Day. The ratings were good, but overall, the ratings have been down. Really, of the last 5 seasons, the NBA ratings have gone down. That's why they've come up with all these gimmicks: the in-season tournament and then the play-in tournament. That's why they're coming up with all these gimmicks, So because they're trying to get people interest, because you have to understand when the NBA season starts in a lot of part of October, you still got football going, college football, you got NFL, you got the NCAA football, and so you still right now in the midst of football season. And so a lot of people don't really get into the NBA probably until maybe January, when football season, NCAA season ends, and then that's when people start getting to the NBA. So I just think that's what they're dealing with right now. And then a lot of people are not happy about the playing style of the NBA, the way they playing, and they run to the 3-point line instead of going in for the layup. They want to throw the ball all the way out to the guy at the 3-point line. Dude, you had a layup right there. Shoot the layup. No, he could throw the ball out to the guy at the 3-point line. Then he throw up a brick, flank, and badly hit the goal. It's not a good brand of basketball, and that's one of the reasons why the numbers are down.
And that's why it's so fun to watch a team like the Rockets, who play team defense very well, a team like the Thunder, who can actually get into the paint and be creative with something, get offensive rebounds, putbacks, and all that, instead of just running to the 3-point line, even though they do jack them up and miss them a lot. But it's hard to watch basketball these days for a lot of people, especially a lot of old heads.
Let me ask this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, this is a trade I'm hearing. I'm just saying it's a trade I'm hearing about De'Aaron Fox. Fox to Houston for Cam Whitmore, Dylan Brooks, Reed Shepherd, and a couple of picks. Would you guys make that trade?
No.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
The Rockets have a 21-9 record.
No trades right now.
Look at what the Kings got. Why are you trading with the Kings?
Well, the thing is, if someone like a De'Aaron Fox is like a once in a lifetime type of opportunity. So if it passes, it passes. It's going to be hard to come across a top tier superstar that can actually change the route of the team. It's going to be hard to get that in the off season. So if there's a trade that can happen now, and we'll have to make a trade at some point, then why not go for someone like a De'Aaron Fox?
Quick question: if they made that trade, and now you have De'Aaron Fox and Jalen Green in the backcourt, how would you think that backcourt would mush?
I prefer to move Jalen Green instead of who did you say? It was Dylan Brooks, Reed, and who else?
It would be Cam Whitmore, Dylan Brooks, and Reed Shepherd and picks. So Houston will still have.
If I'm Kansas, if I'm Sacramento, I take the trade. If I'm Houston, I tell them knock next door.
Yeah, because I wouldn't move Cam. I would move Reed Shepherd, but that would be tough. But yeah, I'd move Reed Shepherd. I'd move Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green, but that's just too much for De'Aaron. Maybe
Jalen was not in that trade. So my question is, in that trade, how would you guys think that Jalen Green and De'Aaron Fox would cooperate? Well, how would you guys think to mush in the backcourt?
I think De'Aaron Fox would make Jalen Green better if De'Aaron Fox is running the show and having Jalen Green play off ball or vice versa. I think they could play well with each other because they run downhill.
What about you, Phil? How do you think Fox and Green will play together?
Awesome. They do great, but I mean, you still need some of those. I ain't getting rid of Whitmore for none of them.
Not getting rid of
the only way I would do that
right now.
I wouldn't.
If Tara Eason was healthy. Eason's in and out of the line. You can't count on Eason.
True.
The
I
Rockets
might
are
consider that, Jeff, if they'll take it.
the, the
But
Rockets
go ahead.
the Rockets players are 22, 23 years old. I wouldn't tinker with that team at all. I would love to see their practices. It's probably the best thing you ever saw in your life. I wouldn't tinker with it. The problem with them, they're 22, 23 years old, second or third in the league just off of athletic ability. Charles Barkley said they just need to learn how to play basketball and they need to learn how to win, but they need to learn how to do that together. They genuinely love each other as teammates. They should stay together and learn how to win together. And that will come in time. And as we're looking at it, it's coming in a shorter time than we expected. So let it play out.
If they stay together and he manages their time, you talking about in a couple of years, they be playing for the championship, in my opinion.
It's going quicker than what we thought.
Well, you can't
Yeah,
let
I
your
agree.
fans run your organization. That's the
No.
one thing people can't do.
True.
And so if they just stick to their plan, it'll be fine. You know, let's just be real. I mean, they have a process they're trying to deal with, and they need to go through it. I mean,
Yes.
Embiid said, you know, trust the process. It got him somewhere. So trust the process and let's see what happens. And that's a process that if you trust him, it's 2 full seasons. I mean, come on. We plan and progressing as we speak.
Yes.
Very much so.
I'm gonna tell you the teams that I think that's gonna be looking to make a trade in the next couple of months when trade deadline come around. New Orleans sitting at 5-26. You know they're gonna be looking to make a trade. They got nothing to lose to make a trade, sitting at 5-26. You got the Warriors sitting at 15-14. If they continue to hoop around the 500 mark, I can see them making a trade to try to go ahead and solidify that team for the playoff run. All right. T-Wolves sitting at 15-14. They continue to hoop around that level. Same thing with Phoenix Suns sitting at 15-14. If those teams continue to hoop around that 500 mark, I expect those teams to be looking to make trades. So I expect a very heavy trade season come February.
I agree with that. I think it will be because you got some teams that's very much underachieving or mediocre, and they paying people too much money just to be in that realm. So I can see a lot of that about to happen. We are toward the end of our show, but Mr. President, what is some of the things happening? But before I go into that, Phil, hit us with the A-Rocket.
Hey guys, just so you know, best moving company in the state of Texas, A-Rocket Moving and Storage. Family owned, family operated since 1959. Located 3401 Porter Street in the heart of Third Ward for the most part. Residential, commercial, intrastate, interstate. You call it, we haul it. We do all type of moves, offices, residential. And if you are in the area, drop in and come take a tour of our brand new 62,000 square foot warehouse, climate control. We're ready to roll at your convenience. 713-748-6024. DeAndre Sam, owner and proprietor of the company. And me, just give me a call, Philip Green, 713-748-6024. We'll be at your service, as the name states, A-Rocket in a hurry. We'll be there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, Jeff. Give us the final word, Jeff.
Well, basketball it's hot right now. The NCAA's basketball. When Tennessee is sitting at 11-0, Auburn sitting at 11-1. Those guys are sitting at the top. The women, you got UCLA sitting at 12-0. They got it going on. South Carolina 11-1.
Didn't I tell y'all about UCLA a couple of weeks ago, Jeff?
Huh?
I told you about UCLA a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. USC sitting at 11-1, Texas at 12-1, LSU sitting at 14-0. So the girls, they got it going on, man. So
we had a top-rated game with USC against Connecticut. Had the high ratings with the 2 stars in college basketball.
Yeah,
right. And then you got the Houston Cougars. They rank number 15 right now, sitting at 11-3. And as far as high school basketball, just a little bit of high school basketball. Coming into the season, you had Wheatley ranked ahead of JY, and you had Booker T. Washington ranked behind JY, but it's just the opposite. Booker T. Washington is better than both Wheatley and JY this year. Booker T. Washington sitting at 11-2 overall, 7-0 in district, so he's number 1 in the district. And then you have Wheatley sitting at number 2, 11-4 overall, 6-1 in the district, and JY in third place, 10-5 overall, and 5-2 in the district. So, wow, you got to give Booker T. Washington credit. We've never given Booker T. Washington credit on this show. I don't think we've ever mentioned Booker T. Washington on this show.
They were tough last year too, Jeff. You know that.
Yeah. So,
They've
no,
been
I didn't know how
tough.
tough they were last year, but they got it going on this year.
Yeah,
So, Booker T. Washington, yeah.
All right, and you know, some interesting things going to start this year. You got unrivaled basketball for the women. I believe that's 3-on-3. All the stars are playing, and they're going to start playing this year. Ice Cube and 3-on-3 basketball is going into, I think it's 7th year, but now they have teams in cities. And they're going to do that. We have a team here in Houston. And classmates of ours are the owners. We're going to try to interview them and have them on the Legends program, as well as we're going to try to have more Legends shows with famous athletes or people who have really done things in our region and in the world of sports. And we look forward to that. We want 2025 to be our top year so far, and we're going to look forward to innovations, different things, expanding our base and creating Sportstake to be a name that people know about when it comes to sports. Sportstake is where it's at also. So we want to put the word out, and sponsorship and Legends and everything Sportstake right here. Do we have any more information, any more words? Paul, you got something?
One last thing, real quick. Just tell me, who's your MVP of the NBA right now? Everybody, just give me one guy. Who's your MVP of the NBA right now? Giannis. Okay, that's a good one. Giannis is averaging 32.7 points a game, 11.6 rebounds. That's a good pick.
Say Gilgeous Alexander.
Okay, 31 points a game for Shea. Anybody else?
I'll take Shea also, and I'd like to give a shout out to Randall High School. We got a state champion in this town, football.
All right. Shout out to Randall. Okay.
Yeah, they won the 5A state championship. They beat South Oak Cliff, which
and only in their 4th year, I think, right?
What school is that?
Randall High School. It's in Richmond, Texas, Randall High School, and they have a black coach. His coaching at the school is named after his father, and his father's still living.
Right. And he was at the game.
And he was at the game, on the field.
Yep.
Okay. I hadn't heard of Randall. R-A-N-D-L-E.
Mm-hmm.
And
what class is that? What class is that?
5A.
Okay.
5A, and they could win state championship in track also, and in the same district as Fort Bend Marshall, which won state last year. And you also have Iowa Colony in that district also that won the 4A state championship and moved up to be in that district. So we're gonna have some track to talk about in the coming year.
Yeah, we got to cover and talk about our local sports also. I'm still amazed that Atascocita ran a 38.9 last year in the 400-meter relay. Y'all know I got to throw in my track, but
everybody saw that.
That broke the record. So
hey, when the track season start, Carl?
Track actually starts. Your TSU relays are in March.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the earlier meets. And I'm gonna go to the pin relays this year, and we're gonna check that out. But I'll bring that back when that time comes. And it's so many things happening. If it's sports, we're gonna be talking about it on Sportstake. Any other thing?
We want to close out the show by giving a special moment. Greg Gumbo, he died today of cancer. Greg Gumbo. So just a moment for Greg Gumbo. Okay.
All right. All right. Well, everybody, we appreciate it. If it's sports, we'll see you. So our next show will be January 10th. And we look forward to our audience coming back. And if it's sports, we're on Sportstake. Any other thing, Mr. President?
You got it.
All right. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Later, Amber.
See you later.
All right.